Thank you for that. For more on how Ukraine could have carried out this assassination and what it means for the larger war, I want to bring in Michael Allen, a former senior director at the National Security Council and majority staff director on the House Intelligence Committee. Michael, thanks for joining Top Story once again. It's great to have you tonight. I want you to walk our viewers through how you think possibly this happened, right? The planning and the execution, what type of surveillance it takes to pull off something like this for Ukraine to take out one of the top Russian generals on their home turf.
Tom, Ukraine has shown itself throughout this war to have a very skilled intelligence service. I think in this instance, they likely hacked into the general's headquarters computers, tried to figure out his schedule, generally speaking, where would he be and when? Of course, there was likely a lot of on-the-ground surveillance as well to establish a pattern of life. Where does he go? Where does he sleep? Where would he be the most vulnerable? And I think it took a very sophisticated bomb maker to build such an explosive device that could be fit into a scooter and project outward and to kill him and his assistant, as the case may be, but to otherwise limit a lot of the collateral damage. So a very professional operation by the Ukrainians.
And on that issue of the bomb maker, do you think a bomb like this would have to be built in Moscow because it's so sensitive, or is this something they could have imported in from across Ukraine?
I think they could have built it and designed it in Ukraine, but I bet the safest thing for them to do was to do the lion's share of the work inside of Moscow, which says to me that the Ukrainians have safe houses and other locations that they feel like they can access. They likely have agents all over the place, and they very likely want to be able to plan an egress route to escape as soon as possible after the bomb went out.
And, Michael, I want to remind our viewers, I'm going to put this graphic up for them. This is not the first time that Ukraine has been able to do something like this, right? It's killed several Russian leaders and those close to them, both inside Russia and in the occupied territories of Ukraine and Crimea, including car bombings that took out a Russian naval officer, a senior commander of Russia's fleet in the Black Sea, and the daughter of a Russian nationalist. What does this tell you about Ukraine and what they're able to pull off?
I think Ukraine is sending a larger message, and they have been, I believe, for months, that the Russians are not safe anywhere. They are going to bring the fight to you. They are going to take the most egregious actors in the Russian officer corps and target them for assassination. And in fact, Tom, even the Ukrainian intelligence service might have been in Syria to ensure that the Russians lost as they tried to protect the Assad regime last year. And there are reports of Ukrainian intelligence officers occasionally in Africa to target Wagner, the Putin-aligned soldiers of fortune. So I think they're saying we're going to go after you anywhere in the globe, and you are not safe because you invaded our territory.
Finally, the big picture here, right, Michael? Because, I mean, this comes at a time when we had Zelensky, right, go to Paris to meet with President-elect Trump to try to get to some type of peace deal with Russia to end this war. And now you have this major move by Ukraine. And I also want to point out the video that we've been showing, it has a watermark that says RT. That is from a Russian news agency, which shows that Russia does not want the world not to know about this. They want the world to know about this because it fuels the war. It gives them another reason to keep attacking Ukraine. So how does this play into, the hope that some had for peace in that area?
Well, I think Ukraine partisans are probably cheering, but here in the United States, as Trump prepares to take office, we're really aware of him not wanting Ukraine to escalate matters too much. President Trump said in the press conference yesterday he disagreed with the Biden administration position to allow missiles to range deeply into Russian territory. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if some in the Trump camp looked at this and said, you know what, this is unduly escalatory and it's not in tune with what Trump wants to do, which is to be able to strike a peace deal between Zelensky and Putin very soon.
Michael, do you think the attack was worth it for Zelensky?
I think it's good for him to demonstrate to his people that he is in the fight and that they are carrying it against the Russians on all fronts. But he has to begin to look at the politics of this in the United States and chart a way forward where it looks like Putin is the obstacle to peace, not him. And if he's seen escalating all the time, I think people are going to be more likely to say, hey, Zelensky, you're the one that's keeping this war going.
Michael Allen, always a pleasure to talk to you. We thank you for joining Top Story tonight.
Thank you.